Welcome again, YouTube. Today I'm going to be making sushi. The first steps is make sure you have all your ingredients. First thing you're going to want to do is make your rice, because it takes a little while. You have to make the rice and then it has to cool. So you need rice vinegar, and the one that I have on here actually has how to make it on the side to make sushi rice. So you're going to need the actual vinegar, sugar, salt, and rice. Now, I have the sushi rice that I bought from Oriental Market. It's basically short grain rice. It's compared to what you normally get. Not exactly bright, and you can see, but it's just short grain rice. There you go. That's what you're going to be using. You're going to cook it normally. I've got 3 cups in here. I'm going to put a normal amount of water in there, clean it, put it in, and we'll go from there. Alright, this is just a little sidebar. This is how I do it if you wanted to try new things. Now that I have my water in here and it's clear, everything's been washed, how I do it is I stick my finger in until I touch the top of the rice. And if the water goes up to my cuticle, no matter how much rice I have in there, that's enough water. Just obviously make sure the rice is as even as possible. That's why I go to different locations to make sure it's even. But I have the water just go up to my cuticle. If it's too far, I take water out until it gets to my cuticle, and that's how I do it. Alright, now that the rice is done cooking, I put it in a bowl, and I'm going to mix in all the ingredients. I'm following everything from the rice vinegar bottle. So I made 3 cups of uncooked rice, which makes the 6. And now I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons of the rice vinegar, 4 tablespoons of sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, and mix it all together. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator and mix it occasionally, because I want this whole thing to be cooled down. I don't want to put it on the seaweed wrap while it's warm. Okay, now that your rice is cooled to room temperature, at least, and you have all of your other ingredients out, I'm going to be using salmon. I've got avocado, cucumber. I also have cream cheese here. For preparation, I make everything into strips, basically, just like that. I mean, you can always cut it down thinner or however you want it. It's your sushi. I haven't gotten to the salmon yet. And that's pretty much all you need, as long as you have your ingredients and your seaweed wrap out. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to wet our fingers so the rice doesn't stick to our hands. Now you can some people put a lot of rice on here, and some people put a really thin layer. I put an okay layer, but I don't fill it completely up, just to give it more room and it's not a really thick roll, because I have a lot of stuff that I want to put on here. So I'm going to do that right now. So I'm going to dip my hands in some water that I got here. Grab a chunk of rice, set it down, and you're just going to push. It's hard to do with one hand. You just spread it around your wrap. The more you do this, the more used to it you'll get, to know how much you want to get on here. But you continue to spread this around. Peel it off if you need to, move it. I'm not going to keep doing this with one hand, but that's how you do it, and I'll give you the finished product. Alright, and that would be my finished product. Kind of medium rice, not too much, not too little, and I don't cover the whole thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting my stuff on here. I'm going to put avocado, cucumber, the salmon, all the stuff that I told you. I'm going to stack it on here, and then I will roll it. Okay, I got my cucumber, my avocado, and there's my salmon. And last but not least, I've got the cream cheese on there. Now once you get that, you're going to start rolling for how I'm doing it, you'd roll it this way, so the rice will stick to the other end. If you rolled it this way, there'd be nothing over here to stick to the back of this roll when you roll it. So let's do that. Alright, got my camera set up here. So I'm going to start from this end. You can swap around if you want to. Just enough to get it started here. And you want to make sure that you get this as tight as possible. There are things that you can buy to do that. But try to make sure it's nice and snug when you start. And just push down on this while you're rolling it. And you should be good to get this nice and tight. Not too tight, or else you will rip the seaweed and your sushi's going to look all nasty. It won't taste nasty though. So, alright. There you go. Now you have your roll. All we have to do is cut it now, and I'll show you that. Alright, now that you are completely done, or if you want to do this step, I'd like to do it after everything's done, but you can do it in the middle. Now you have to cut the rolls to make them actually look like sushi that you get from the restaurant. So, here's your sushi roll. If you need to, push the stuff back in there. It kind of gets pressurized as you're rolling it. So what you're going to need here is you're going to need a bowl of water and a really sharp knife. Now what I say bowl of water for, it's pretty much the same concept in when you were actually putting the rice on. You wet your hands so it doesn't stick. It's the same thing for the knife. If you just get a dry knife and you cut into this, it's going to get really messy, things are going to fall out. So the best way to do this would be to dunk your knife tip first, and then you're going to go back like that. See how it drips all the way down? So your whole blade is wet. So do that. Have it drip down. Give it a nice little shake. And you're going to cut into it. I'd say about 2 or 3 until you really start to feel it get dry again. Then it's the same thing. Dunk it and just let it roll back. Very simple. As long as you have a sharp knife, it shouldn't be a problem. Wet my knife again so the stuff doesn't stick. And you can make them as thick or as thin as you want to. Get one more here. There we go, just like that. As you can see, I've cut them all through. And now you take them apart and you're left with your new sushi.